Hi, my name is Debra R. Richardson of Debra R. Richardson LLC, and I work with you to help you clean up your vendor data, clean up your vendor processes so that you may pay the right vendor. And this week's Vendor Master File tip of the week is don't collect banking from an invoice. And here are two reasons why. Now, the first reason is really just the ability to even identify when a change in banking has occurred based on an invoice received. Unless you have an automation platform that detects bank changes when invoices are received, and some platforms do have that feature, then relying on the invoice tool or the user when receiving that invoice manually to detect a change in banking may result in a missed change not being performed or updated prior to the next payment. Now, the second reason is, fraud, especially if invoices are sent through email. Those invoices can be intercepted, and the fraudsters or cyber criminals will replace their banking information with the vendor's banking information. And this method ensures that no changes to the invoice format or numbering scheme makes the bank information look illegitimate. So it is a highly successful activity or method because the invoice looks like normal invoices, and so do the number sequences. So now what do you do instead? Well, the best practice is to have an existing vendor change process that is separate from the invoicing process. And here are two critical steps. The first one is to require a company branded ACH form. Make sure that you include authenticating data on that form, be it the vendor's tax ID, the vendor's remit information, and the existing vendor banking information. So if they're changing banking information, they will know their existing banking information. And if you come up against someone that doesn't know it, you're just not talking to the right person at the company. The second thing with that form is you need to make sure that you change it every year, because you should only be sending that form to vendors that you have authenticated. And if you need more information on authentication, I will link to a Vendor Master File tip of the week on that. But you only need to send that form to vendors that have authenticated. And so if you receive a form that is a prior year form, that can be a great indicator or red flag for fraud. Now, the second thing that you need to do is validate that bank information. You first want to validate the bank branch details to make sure that the payment will be successful and that you won't have a potential for notch fines if you don't answer those notice of changes in a timely fashion that you receive from your bank when they have to make changes after you send them your payment file. Now, the second thing is to validate bank account ownership. Now, this is where you can validate the legal name of the vendor and perhaps the tax ID against the bank account holder name and the tax ID that was used to open the bank account. So good luck, and if you would like more information on how to combat fraud in the vendor setup and maintenance process, go to my website at DebraRRichardson.com. I will put it in the description, where you will find both free and paid tools and resources to help you avoid fraud, avoid those regulatory fines, and also just avoid bad vendor data. So good luck, and don't forget to tune in next Tuesday for next week's Vendor Master File tip of the week.